I have a solution to your problem when playing VR first-person shooters, and I have a giveaway. Stay tuned for that. All that and more. You're watching Bringhurst VR.
Little by little you take control. It's a little unsimple how your game's in motion. And I don't even notice that I'm playing your game.
Alright, you guys, before I begin this episode is brought to you by Sanlaki. These guys were kind enough to send me their VR Gunstock free of charge. I appreciate them, but as always, just because I got it for free does not mean I'm going to paint it as some rosy thing if it's not. So let's dive into it. What's it actually like? What separates this from the other VR gun stocks? What are its pros and cons? Do you even need a VR gun stock? This is going to be a level-headed, honest review, and I appreciate them for not only supplying me with this unit to review, but for giving me a few different things to give away to my audience. Really, stay tuned for the end of this, and on with the review. Now, a lot of VR gun stocks, since we've got the Quest Pro and the Quest 3, we no longer have the ring to rely on. Most of these designers have been forced to rely on a cup that hugs the bottom of the controller. And often when there's a cup, they expect you to bring it down from on top of the gun and plant it on top, which is completely counter to how reloading a weapon inside of VR works. As you're familiar, if you've played Onward or Pavlov, anything like that, you take your ammo from your hip and you slide it into the bottom of the gun. And oftentimes when you have VR gun stock and a controller attachment, if it's a cupped attachment, they want you to come in through the top, and it's not a great solution. So this is what Sanlaki did. They attached it to the top. It's very well designed. It's 3D printed, but it's very solid. It's not going anywhere. And it comes with a bolt with a butterfly screw that attaches it. Once you get used to how it applies and where it needs to fit on the controller, I'll get into that in a second. Once you understand that and you've done it a couple times, it goes on, it comes off in under 30 seconds. It's very fast. The magnets that come with it are super strong. When attaching it to the gun, it simply connects and it doesn't come off unless you want it to. For easy reloading, pull off, pull down, bring it up, and attach. Now, I really like this design. There was a time when I thought that it was a bit unnecessary. There was a time when I thought that the idea of attaching a clamp to the top of, at the time, the Quest Pro controller, and now with the Quest 3 because it's similarly designed. But no, having used a couple other third-party options, it's a well thought out design, and the ease at which you can reload the weapon is appreciated, and just how strong the magnets are. And this gun does something that a lot of other guns don't do as well. When you're playing in, say, Onward, you have a whole plethora of weapons to choose from. It might be a short SMG, it might be a longer range rifle, it might be a shotgun. And those all have different length barrels. When you're in VR and you're holding something that's this long, but your gun stock is this big, then not only does it take you out of the immersion, but it makes reloading sometimes awkward, if not difficult, if not impossible. And so the solution that these guys came up with was a full metal barrel that when attaching, you can slide depending on the length of your weapon. And I have found that super useful when playing in Onward. Now, Sanlaki's offering a few different versions of this gun. Their newest one is slightly more expensive one. It comes with a bar to rest your cheek on when you're aiming. I have found that very useful. They also offer this strap to put it over your shoulder, which is necessary. You have to have it if you're going to be playing with this. There's just no other way. You can't reload a gun without it. Now, how does this VR gun stock work when it comes to line of sight for the headset and the IR lights on the controllers? Does it cause issues? No, it doesn't. I haven't had any issues. I initially had some tracking issues in PC VR, but it couldn't be replicated in standalone. And so I narrowed that down, and it was all about my router. So this works great across PC VR and standalone. It's fully moddable, adjustable from where you put the controller to how high this goes. You can adjust it and lift it and bring it down. And of course, if you're playing somewhere that's a little more populated, they offer an orange tip that goes on the top of this to make clear that this is not a real weapon, as if it could be confused for a real weapon. I mean, it looks badass, but, well, I don't know. Maybe someone might take issue with it, but I think it looks really cool. And just attaching everything, adding everything, truthfully, from the get-go, it feels complicated because of you're working with a controller that is essentially a round, flat surface, and then you've got this attachment that only attaches in one way, and looking at it, you think, well, gosh, which way does it go? Is this supposed to be here, or how do I turn it to get it attached? But in reality, because of the curvature of the face of this controller, there's only one way it can attach. And you'll notice this part of the controller here bows more than the rest of the attachment. And once you understand that leans toward the arm of the controller, it's as simple as opening it, slapping it on, and then tightening it, and it's done. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you have it, once you've done it a couple times, it's pretty easy. So those are my thoughts on the gun stock that they sent me, but there's more to talk about. I've been using this brand of gun stock from them going back to the early days of the Quest 2. I've used it on the 2, I've used it on the Pro, and now I've been using it on this since they sent it to me. And there are some changes. They're not all amazing, but if you prefer what I'm about to show you compared to what you just saw, you're welcome to, go back and grab this version instead. I initially purchased this for the Quest Pro, and you'll see that the controller mount is very similar. It works the same way, except this new version they have is designed to open up those IR lights so that there's no tracking issues. The difference in this gun, and mind you, I attached this myself. You can see that crappy hot glue right there. I did this just for a little shoulder comfort. It's comfortable without it, but at the time, a year and a half ago, I thought it seemed like a good idea. So this won't come with it, but if you want to attach one, this was like $10 on Amazon. So if you want to know more about that and where to get it, hit me up in the comments. But this gun, you'll notice, is very similar to what I just showed you. They're built very similarly. The difference is that the gun I had for the Quest Pro, and that I believe is still available on their site, has this full, just empty bar. Whereas this one they sent me, it has this plastic sheath over the top. Not only does it look cool, but I think it's designed to, it's just boom, it's on, it's done. But with that sheath over the top, it securely makes sure that it's directly and perfectly in line with the rest of the gun. Whereas the old gun, this one I'm holding now, when it's attached, you can turn it. You can turn it upside down if you want to. Now, why would you want something like that? You would want something like that because not all guns in these games, and right now I'm talking about Onward specifically, not all guns are built the same. You can modify these weapons to your heart's desire, but some guns are just, they're going to work differently than others. And there are times when your sight, sometimes some guns don't line up. So when you're holding it, you can't see the reticle. And that's because some guns are built differently. And as much as you might like, they don't all the time work with a gun stock. And the benefit of this is if it's not there, if you can't see the reticle, sometimes it's as simple as turning it a little bit. Because although all you're doing is turning this in the game, it's kind of tilting and maneuvering the gun, and you can get a better sight that way. Now, you can't do this with this new gun stock that I've got here. All right, so that thing with the metal pipe and that the sheath over the top preventing you from twisting the controller, yeah, some previous guns didn't come like that, but that sheath is removable. Like, you don't need it if you don't want it, so it's not a deal breaker. Just want to throw that in. All right, back to the thing. But those issues are few and far between, and really, when you can't see the reticle, it's just an issue of, oh, you picked the wrong gun and the wrong sight, and when that happens, you just pick a different gun, pick a gun that you like that works with your gun stock, and you're good to go. Just saying that I kind of appreciated that with this, being able to turn it. Otherwise, these guns are the exact same. The attachments are the exact same, minus how these attach. If all of the IR lights are visible to your headset, it's not occluding anything. Whereas if you were to try to put the Quest Pro attachment on, it would cover the lights. So they've taken all that into account. It works really well. I spent half of my time in the Quest 2 not using one and just holding my controllers like this, and I thought it was fine. My arms kind of got tired, but once I was in this, once I began using a Gunstock, my accuracy improved a lot. This is a problem to a solution that you didn't know you had. I promise. You might be fine without a Gunstock. You're probably doing great. You might be on the leaderboards, but a Gunstock will improve your game. I know it improved mine and others I've talked to, and it's just nice to have. I don't play first-person shooters every day, but when I do, I began using a Gunstock back in like 2021, and I never looked back. Now, this Gunstock I can confirm works on Pavlov, it works on Onward. I imagine it works on Breachers and others. You'll want to look it up for yourself. But it doesn't work on Population 1. And the reason for that is just, I think just the way the guns are held and the build of the guns. I tried it a couple times back on the Quest 2. A couple guns would work just on their own, but most of them, there were issues. It was a matter of getting your controller's position correctly, using that bar and tilting him like I had mentioned, which you can't do with this new one. So even more so, not applicable to Population 1. Now, I don't have a Quest 2 on me, but I do have the attachments from back in the day when I was playing on the Quest 2. And you'll notice that the way it attaches, the magnet is the same. This attaches to the inside of the ring. Whether you're on a Quest Pro, a Quest 2, or the Quest 3, they have solutions for you. And I honestly really liked this. Like, I really liked it. Mainly because these attached to the inside of the ring, I could still charge it. I didn't have to take this off if I wanted to play Synth Riders or Beat Saber. It made the top of the controller a tad heavy because of the magnet, but otherwise I could leave this on all the time without issue. Now I can still do that with these. I can leave this on and play Beat Saber or Population 1 or Synth Riders or anything I want, and I don't have to take this off. However, with this on, it will not charge on the MetaQuest Pro dock. It's too big. Doesn't work. At least in my case. It seems like because the battery is so heavy, it wants to fall forward and it won't charge. That said, I'll typically leave this on for days at a time and just play and not put the controller on the dock because the battery is so good. It's not something I'm really concerned about. And then every few days, I'll bail on a first-person shooter, go back to golf. So how strong are these things? I mean, if I pull on it, like I'm going to do it. I'm really going to pull. It's really well built. The magnet almost looks like injection molded. I don't think it is, but it looks like it. It's very solid, it's very sturdy, and when it's on here, and it's not coming off. And that's the pro of this. I mean, talking to this guy, that's why he does it. Because he doesn't want to advertise a Gunstock that has the potential to either break your controller or, God forbid, you're playing with a Gunstock with a controller and the whole gun just falls off the controller because it's mounted from cups on the bottom. I haven't had that happen to me in the past, but I could see it happening. I could see these solutions where a controller is attached to the Gunstock by a cup that just slides on or is gripped somehow at the base, and the weight of the gun pulls it off. And I think whether or not that's like a real concern, something that's feasible, and I don't know, that peace of mind having it attached at the top is nice. And that's why, I reached out to these guys. I came to them and said, hey, I've used your stuff on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. I'd like to review it for the Quest 3. Will you please send me something so that I can check it out and see how it compares to your previous stuff? And these guys did. And not only did they send me this, they sent me extra models for giveaways. They also sent me some other stuff unrelated to Gunstocks, but they are accessories for the Quest 3. That's going to be a separate video because I don't have time. There's not enough time in the world. But for now, you should know what he sent me was for the Quest 3. But I have got accessories I paid for the Quest Pro, for the Quest 2, Now I'm going to be giving away 2 of these gun stocks. The first one is strictly Quest 3. If you want a Quest 3, you'll want this. Somewhere in this video, there was a word, a phrase hidden. First person to comment that word in the comments is going to win this. If I say your name or if you're the first one to find it, by the time I make my next video, hit me up on Discord. We'll confirm who you say you are through some kind of a screenshot of your account proving that you made the comment. We'll get your address and I'll send it off to you. But that's only half of it because I'm also giving away a second gun stock, and that gun stock is going to be compatible with whatever you need. Whether it's a Quest Pro, a Quest 2, or a Quest 3, I will make it compatible for you and I'll send it straight to you. Now, the phrase that's in this video, there's more to it because I made a post for my paid members only. Together, they equate to something else. Call it a riddle. I want the answer to that riddle. The person who gives me the answer, either in the comments here or comments under the post I make for my members only. What could that word be? I don't know. You'll know though, and when you do, you're going to win that gun stock for the Quest 3 or 2 or Pro, whatever you want. And then again, as always, hit me up on Discord. We'll figure it out and I will send it to you. And that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to Sanlaki for sending this stuff to me. And true to my word, in a previous video, I said I was giving away a MetaQuest 3 silicone facial interface. The winner of that is Strong Armstrong 23. Congratulations. Hit me up on Discord. Link is in the description and we will get it to you. Please subscribe. Please like this video, comment, and all that stuff. You guys are amazing. Have a great day.
Little by little, you take control.